If you want to improve your forehand and get it to the next level, you're going to love this lesson. We're going to cover the inside-out forehand and the inside-in forehand, specifically how the footwork works, because there's a lot of misunderstanding out there, and we're going to get into that lesson in just a moment. My name is Jeff Salzenstein, founder of Tennis Evolution, one of the leading online tennis instruction websites in the world. I'm eager, I'm passionate, I'm committed to helping you accelerate your results. And from playing on the tour for 11 years, breaking the top 100 in the world after many years and many struggles, I was able to unlock secrets to help you improve faster, especially when it comes to footwork. And today we're going to focus on that forehand inside out and inside in footwork. We're actually going to cover if you even should be hitting this shot or not. So let's get into that lesson right now. Some of you have been asking if you should jump on the forehand inside out, inside in. Some of you have been asking how to move around the ball. And I want to cover that right now. But first, I need to talk to you about whether you even should be hitting this shot or not. Let me explain. Depending on your level, if you're playing tennis and you're standing closer to the middle of the court, if you don't have great wheels, if you're not able to move quickly and you're not able to rip forehands from this backhand corner, you might not want to be hitting a lot of inside out and inside in forehands, because if you get over in this part of the court and you don't play a big shot, if you don't play a heavy forehand to a corner, you're going to be running on the next shot. So I often tell players that unless they can do that, they should actually hit more backhands from this part of the court. They should not look for forehands. Now, as you start to move up in level, you go from 4-0 to 4-5 to 5-0, then yes, you want to learn how to do this. But again, if you're a beginner, if you don't move well, if you can't cover the court very well, you don't want to be hanging out here and be susceptible to the running forehand. So just one big point that I want to make, because a lot of players are trying to copy the pros, and they think, oh, well, the pros are hitting inside out forehands, I need to as well. So just understand that going in. That's a really important concept to understand. You don't want to be in a defensive position after trying to go offense with your forehand from this part of the court. Just be okay with hitting backhands and not giving up so much ground. Now let's get into exactly what you can focus on when it comes to your footwork to get around these shots and to do it appropriately. Now, the biggest problem that I see with the inside out and the inside in forehand is that when players decide that they're going to do it, their first move is to drop this foot and turn sideways. So it's a drop step and then they turn sideways like this. Now I want you to notice my hip position. Look at my hip position right here. That's not what we want when we move around the ball. It's not efficient. If you study the pros, if you study Nadal, if you study Federer, or even Dominic Thiem, where I made a video talking about how he runs around his forehand and I showed his footwork, they're keeping their hips facing the net a lot more. The club player is going to see this, they're going to want to hit forehands, and right away their first move is going to be to turn sideways and to step in like this. That's not the efficient way to move. So I'm going to encourage you to start shadow stroking and getting this move around the ball correct. And if you start practicing it, just like a dance, it will become more natural. You'll get into more of a rhythm. So when you're moving, when you see that, okay, it's time for me to move around the ball, you come out of the split step. And what I want you to focus on doing is you can step out with this outside foot here. So the foot that's going to move in the direction that you want to go to hit the forehand. Okay, so you're going to step out and you're going to shuffle. So just get that, if you're aware that you actually turn like this on the first move. So this is what I see. I see people go here and move around the ball. You have to change the first move. We talk a lot about this at Tennis Evolution, is focusing on the first move. The first move with the arms and the first move with the feet. No false steps, no inefficient moves with that first move. So just practice, get it down where you come out of the split, you step out and you shuffle and get that down. You step out and you shuffle. Notice how my feet are going to stay apart here. They're not going to click together. You're going to step out and you're going to shuffle. Now, the next thing is you're going to add another shuffle. you're gonna step out, you're gonna shuffle, and then you're gonna shuffle. And now, look at my position. Look at where I can get to. Step out, shuffle, shuffle. And I'm already at the single sideline, and I have a semi-open stance. The thing you don't want to do is get into position where you come around the ball, and then right by the time you hit, you've turned sideways and you've blocked your hips. So this is very important to get this down. Just do your shadows. Step out, shuffle, shuffle. Now, a more advanced version, which I don't necessarily encourage for you as you're getting used to this move, would be to come out of a split, and on the first move, you could take this foot in front right here. So you could cross over like this. Watch this. Well, you cross over. Let me explain this better. You cross over as you shuffle. So you go there. Now that's a more advanced move, right? You come out of a split and you go there. You can do that. You can also, and I've seen Nadal do this, you can come behind and do it, right? So notice what I just did there. I went behind with this inside foot, and then I shuffled. The problem with going behind, and the reason I don't teach it to my students until they're very high level, is that, again, if you come behind, the tendency is for players to turn sideways. So if you're able to go behind and keep your hips facing like this, you can do it all day long. So my first choice at the first level here is just step out and shuffle. Shuffle, 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 okay? Second concept, or the second level, would be step out. I should say, you could step out a little bit there, but basically when you make your shuffle move, this foot goes in front. See what I just did there? It's like a dance. This is where the 2 feet are working together. And the third level is to go behind as you shuffle around the ball. And you only do it one time. So if you go in front like this, then the next one is going to be a shuffle. You're not going to cross over twice. And you're not going to cross behind twice. It's one move, and then you get into your shuffling. So it'd be cross in front, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. It would be cross behind, shuffle, shuffle, shuffle. And notice what I'm doing with my hands. I'm getting into my first move position as I'm moving around the ball. Again, here's what I want you to do first, so that you don't feel overwhelmed. Let's keep it simple. You come out of your split, you step out, and you shuffle one time. And then maybe from there, you shuffle again, and now you're ready to hit the ball. So that's a lot, right? But if you just simplify it into shuffling around the ball, keeping your hips facing, you're gonna get this. You're gonna start to practice it, get better and better at it. Now, the next part, when you get around the ball and you get to right here, you'll see some pros still have a lot of weight on this leg. And that's fine right when you land. So when you come here and you land, but at some point, I believe you should feel the weight shifting so that you're on this outside leg, almost as if you were going to step into a forehand. You want to feel like you're in this semi-open stance, but your more weight is on this outside leg, not like this. Not how they teach where you load up the outside leg. When you get to here, right before you go to hit the ball, you want to be on your front foot. Now, in a video where you can click the link, we're going to leave a link for you below in the description, I talked about Dominic Thiem. And I talked about how when he goes to hit the ball, he jumps. And I said, this is an incredible move that the pros use where they jump as they hit the ball. And somebody made a comment, should I jump? Should club players jump? Do they have the physicality to do it? Let me answer that. So the first answer is that probably not. If you're a club player and you don't have the physicality, when you get over here, you shouldn't be jumping this direction. Now, I'm going to get into the mechanics of the jumping in a minute, at this next level. But first, what I want to talk about is for those of you who are not going to jump. Remember, you have to get the move around the ball, where you're shuffling around the ball. You have to get this right. You can't just skip this part and then try to figure it out. If your first move is off, it's going to be very difficult to find the right rhythm on this shot. So you've got to get around the ball, and you've got to get into this stance right here, and you have to be able to load your legs. You have to be able to push. Many of you are too high like this. Your legs aren't springy enough. You don't have the single leg strength or the ankle mobility. A lot of my courses actually talk about how we have information on can actually help you improve your body. So if you want to join our membership, you can actually get our bonuses on corrective exercises on how to get that ankle mobility improved, how to get springer in your legs so that you can do the things I asked you to do. It's not just about technique and footwork. Okay, back to the movement here. So when you get around this ball, if you know you're not going to jump from here off of this leg, all you have to do is get around the ball and step in and hit like this. Now I want you to notice my stance. I'm stepping in, but this foot is not closed, and that's the problem that I see with players. So what we're going to do is we're going to get around the ball, and then when we step in, look at how I'm semi-open. And that's how you would hit your inside out or your inside in, so you don't have to jump. What you have to make sure that you do a great job of is creating space. Because the reason that players jump, other than the ball being high, which we're going to talk about in a moment, is that they're jumping to get away from the ball, to create more space. So if you're not going to jump, if you're going to be in this position right here, you have to make sure you have a lot of space as you swing. A lot of times when we get around this ball, we get too close to it. So in order to get away from it, we have to jump away from it. And this is one of the secrets to movement in tennis, is many times you're going to have to jump to move away from the ball, to create space, because you're too close to it. And this is one of those examples. So just to review on the no jumping move, shuffle around the ball, have your racket in this position, get semi-open here. Sometimes players get square. Okay, I'm not going to correct it every time if someone's square, but you definitely don't want to be closed, and you definitely don't want to be square every time. So really work to feel like your stance is more open, and when you're here, you just step in. If you've got to go inside out, maybe it'll look more like this, but you can see my foot, I'm not totally square here. I'm a little bit open, okay? That's the big key, using that space, stepping in semi-open. Now what about jumping? What about what Dominic, Thiem is doing and others are doing? They're jumping away from the ball. So if I teach someone to hit a second serve return from outside the alley, if I teach them to run around a ball, especially if the ball gets up around the shoulder, okay, this is what the pros are doing. They're taking the ball around the shoulder. If the ball's down here, you don't have to jump. If the ball's low, you don't have to jump. You can come here, and you can see how I just jumped a little bit and I kept my body going that way. What I see players do is they come around the ball, and when they jump, they actually jump into the ball. But I want you to see when I launch, look where my foot is here, and look at where I land. So I covered 3 feet. You can't do that if you don't have the physicality. Okay, you can't jump that far. That's why single leg strength here, single leg strength is very important. Being able to push off of this single leg and to jump. So you want to make sure that you're jumping to the side. That's what the pros are doing. And they're rotating when they do that. They jump to the side and they rotate their body more. Most club players are going to get stuck like this. So it's a complete opposite what the pros are doing. This is the most advanced way to do it. You'll notice that I gave you progressions from the very beginning, from the start all the way to the finish, depending on your level. So you want to get out on the court and practice this. Just start with the shadow strokes, where you really work on shuffling around the ball. Okay, shuffle with this move right here. Most people don't get their racket in this position. They either take it back or they keep it facing. No, you want to get around the ball. And if this feels like a lot of stretch, that means you need to work on your spine rotation. And we've got exercises for you inside membership as well on that. Remember, don't just think about technique and footwork. Focus on your body. You've got to upgrade your body if you want to get to the next level. And so I hope you learned a lot from this lesson today. We worked on the footwork. We worked on getting around the ball. We understand how to jump. We understand how to make the first move. A lot of magic in this lesson. And we also have to work on our bodies. We have to work on doing the right corrective exercises. So if you enjoyed this lesson, give us a thumbs up. It helps the channel immensely. Tells YouTube, hey, really excited you really enjoyed this lesson. More people like you are going to see it. Click the link below or somewhere in this video to sign up for our free membership that will help you with injury prevention, mental toughness, with your forehand, with your footwork, and a bunch of other strokes. And all you have to do is click below or somewhere in this video. No credit card required. Had a blast making this lesson today. Very deep, advanced stuff, but I want you to have a full understanding of what the pros are really doing so that you can start to model the right way to use this inside out and inside in forehand footwork. Okay, until the next lesson, we'll see you.